The Dark Secrets Behind Gone with the Wind. Hattie McDaniel was a trailblazing African-American actress, singer, and comedian whose legacy continues to resonate in Hollywood and beyond. Born on June 10, 1893, in Wichita, Kansas, she was the youngest of 13 children. Her parents, Henry McDaniel and Susan Holbert, were both former slaves, and the family lived in a racially segregated America. Growing up in poverty, McDaniel was exposed to the hardships of life early on, but she also developed a strong sense of determination and a deep love for the performing arts. In her youth, McDaniel's family relocated to Denver, Colorado, where she attended Denver East High School. It was here that she began honing her musical talents, participating in school plays and singing in church choirs. Her natural charisma and vocal talent were undeniable, and by her late teens, she had already started performing professionally. McDaniel began her career in show business as a blues singer, touring with vaudeville acts and performing on the radio. In 1925, she became the first African-American woman to sing on American radio, showcasing her incredible vocal range and opening doors for future black artists in the medium. However, it was her acting career that would ultimately immortalize her in Hollywood history. Hattie McDaniel's journey to becoming a Hollywood icon was not an easy one. Black actors in early 20th century America were largely limited to demeaning roles that reinforced racial stereotypes, such as slaves, servants, or comic relief characters. Despite these limitations, McDaniel persevered, determined to make a name for herself. In 1931, she moved to Los Angeles, where she worked as a maid and a cook while pursuing acting opportunities. She began landing small roles in films, often portraying maids, but her talent and screen presence quickly set her apart from other actors. Her breakout role came in 1934 when she was cast in Judge Priest, a comedy directed by John Ford, starring Will Rogers. McDaniel's comedic timing and charm were undeniable, and she soon found herself cast in more prominent roles. The role that defined Hattie McDaniel's career came in 1939 when she was cast as Mammy in the epic film Gone with the Wind. Directed by Victor Fleming and based on the novel by Margaret Mitchell, Gone with the Wind was one of the most highly anticipated films of its time. The film was set during the American Civil War and Reconstruction era, and McDaniel's portrayal of Mammy, a loyal and wise housemaid, was both beloved and controversial. On one hand, McDaniel brought depth, dignity, and humanity to a role that could have been reduced to a stereotype, showcasing her incredible range as an actress. On the other hand, many in the African American community criticized the role for perpetuating the image of the subservient black maid, a trope that had long been used to demean black women in American culture. Hattie McDaniel, one of the most iconic figures in Hollywood history, is remembered for her groundbreaking role in Gone with the Wind as Mammy, a role that earned her the distinction of being the first African American to win an Academy Award. However, despite this historic achievement, McDaniel's involvement in Gone with the Wind is surrounded by a series of dark and complex realities that reflect the racial dynamics of the time and Hollywood's complicated history with black actors. Although McDaniel's Oscar win was a milestone for African Americans in Hollywood, it came with a painful trade-off. Throughout her career, McDaniel faced the harsh reality of being typecast into subservient roles that reflected deeply ingrained racial stereotypes of the time. The character of Mammy, a loyal and loving servant to white plantation owners, fits squarely into the Mammy stereotype that Hollywood was eager to perpetuate in the 1930s and 1940s. This archetype portrayed black women as happy, submissive caretakers, devoid of personal ambition or desire, existing solely to serve white families. McDaniel, a talented actress, singer, and performer, was often relegated to such roles because the film industry offered little else to black actors. These parts, though high-profile, did not challenge societal norms about race or attempt to reflect the true complexity of African American experiences. While McDaniel often expressed pride in her work and saw these roles as opportunities in an industry that otherwise excluded black talent, the emotional and professional limitations imposed by these roles were undeniable. McDaniel's portrayal of Mammy in Gone with the Wind sparked controversy, not only among critics of the film but also within the African American community. At the time, organizations like the NAACP were striving to challenge the degrading portrayals of black people in media. They believed that roles like Mammy reinforced negative stereotypes and undermined the dignity of African Americans. McDaniel faced backlash from many in her own community who felt that by accepting these roles, she was perpetuating racist imagery that had long contributed to the oppression of black people in the U.S. McDaniel, however, saw her career as a personal triumph in a difficult industry and reportedly said, "I'd rather make $700 a week playing a maid than earn $7 a day being one." Her pragmatism, while understandable given the limited opportunities available to black actors at the time, placed her in a difficult position. The complexities of her career reflect the challenges black actors faced in navigating a deeply segregated Hollywood system, where choosing between financial security and cultural representation was a reality. Hattie McDaniel's historic Academy Award win for Best Supporting Actress in 1940 was a bittersweet moment. While her Oscar win marked a major achievement for African Americans in the film industry, it was also tainted by the systemic racism that pervaded Hollywood and American society at large. McDaniel was not allowed to attend the premiere of Gone with the Wind in Atlanta due to Georgia's strict segregation laws. Even when she attended the Oscar ceremony, which took place at the segregated Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles, McDaniel and her guest were seated at a small, isolated table in the back of the room, separated from her fellow cast members. She was only permitted to attend because the film's producer, David O. Selznick, pulled strings to make it happen. This segregation at one of the most prestigious events in Hollywood highlighted the contradictions inherent in McDaniel's success. While she was celebrated for her talent, she was also constantly reminded of her second-class status as a black woman in America. Gone with the Wind itself remains a contentious film in American cultural history. While celebrated for its sweeping cinematography, grand narrative, and groundbreaking production values, the film is also criticized for its romanticized portrayal of the antebellum South and its sympathetic depiction of the Confederacy. The film glosses over the brutal realities of slavery, portraying enslaved black characters, like Mammy, as content and loyal to their white masters, reinforcing dangerous myths about the benevolence of slavery. For decades, Gone with the Wind has been both celebrated as a cinematic achievement and criticized for its racist undertones. McDaniel's role in the film, while a personal milestone, has often been viewed through the lens of this larger cultural debate. Some argue that McDaniel's performance, while skilled, helped to perpetuate damaging stereotypes, while others see her work as emblematic of the impossible choices black actors had to make in an industry that offered them little room for growth or nuance. Despite her Oscar win and the recognition it brought, McDaniel's career did not see the upward trajectory that might have been expected after such an achievement. Hollywood continued to typecast her in roles similar to Mammy, and she found it difficult to secure parts that allowed her to break free from the stereotypical mold that had defined her career. In later years, McDaniel transitioned to radio and television, but the opportunities remained limited. As racial dynamics in Hollywood began to slowly shift, McDaniel's legacy became more complicated. Her role in Gone with the Wind was both a symbol of triumph and a reminder of the harsh realities faced by black performers in the early 20th century. Following her Oscar win, McDaniel continued to work in Hollywood, although she remained largely confined to playing maid roles. This limitation frustrated her, as she longed to showcase her full range as an actress, but the film industry was slow to offer black performers substantial and varied roles. Nevertheless, McDaniel made the most of her opportunities, bringing warmth, humor, and dignity to each character she portrayed. In addition to her work in film, McDaniel became a prominent figure on the radio, starring in her own show, The Beulah Show, from 1947 to 1952. The program was a comedic series about a black maid working for a white family, and McDaniel's performance once again demonstrated her incredible comedic timing and ability to connect with audiences. However, her role in The Beulah Show was also subject to criticism from civil rights groups, who felt that the show reinforced outdated racial stereotypes. Throughout her career, McDaniel was a pioneer for African American performers, but she was also a philanthropist and advocate for civil rights. She was a founding member of the Negro Actors Guild of America, an organization that aimed to improve working conditions for black performers in the entertainment industry. McDaniel also used her fame and influence to support charitable causes, including providing financial assistance to struggling black actors and musicians. Despite her professional success, McDaniel faced personal hardships as well, including the struggles of maintaining her health. In the late 1940s, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and after battling the disease for several years, she passed away on October 26, 1952, at the age of 59. Hattie McDaniel's contributions to the entertainment industry and her role as a trailblazer for African American performers cannot be overstated. While she often faced criticism for the roles she played, she also broke down barriers and paved the way for future generations of black actors and actresses. Her legacy lives on, not only through her groundbreaking Oscar win but also in the lasting impact she had on the representation of African Americans in film and television. In 2006, her Oscar, which had been missing for decades, was rediscovered, symbolizing the enduring significance of her achievements. Today, Hattie McDaniel is remembered not only as a talented actress but as a symbol of perseverance, dignity, and the ongoing fight for racial equality in Hollywood and beyond.